so it's a week after the Hong Kong 100, and I thought it'd be great just to give you guys a little recap from my side of the race, things that I did well, things that maybe I could improve on next time, and just my general experience of Hong Kong. So I'd just like to start the video saying thank you to my sponsors for really helping out with this trip and for giving me support along the way. It really helps. And also a big thanks obviously to Hong Kong 100 and all the volunteers there. That race is just awesome, and let's get into it, see what happened. Give you a bit of information about the race and the trails in Hong Kong. If you haven't watched my videos already, you can check those out from the race. Basically, yeah, the race itself, it's got a pretty flat profile for the first 50k before it really kind of kicks up into some heavy mountains, some heavy climbing towards the second 50k of the race. So it wasn't just flat, easy trails. Some of the trails in Hong Kong are actually concrete. You do have quite a lot of stairs there as well, but there's also some nice muddy kind of single track kind of spots as well, and some pretty technical rocky sections. So it's a really good mix of everything. But yeah, that first 50k is actually quite rolling, so you do have a few hills to kind of tackle there, but on the whole it's pretty quick, and that's certainly how I felt about it. So hitting off from the gun, I was running with a lot of the elites there, a lot of the pros, so there's probably a group of about 20 of us, 15 maybe, that went off at a pretty decent clip from the gun. So for the first 30k or so, there was a group of us all kind of chasing towards that lead spot. So I was running up with Tim Tollefson, Sage Canaday, Seth Swanson, Didrik from Norway. So some real kind of elites, real top of the sport. So it was really an honour to run with those guys. And for the first 30k, I was handling that pace quite well. We were clicking off some pretty fast kilometres, and there were a few points where I thought that maybe I should have stepped back a bit to allow myself really to kind of gather my thoughts and how I was really feeling, the effort level that I was working at for the 100k. But I stuck with it, I stuck with the pace, and I was quite proud and quite happy that I did do that. It really put me in great position when it came to the later stages of the race. Then around maybe 35k, I kind of lost contact with those guys. So the Americans there kind of blasted off, got a bit of a lead on me. I started to kind of fall back basically. I started to realise that perhaps I hadn't eaten enough at that early stage in the race. I'd been eating pretty well. I thought I was managing my energy levels pretty well, having plenty of gels, drinking plenty of water, but perhaps I just got a little bit too excited in that first 30k and didn't quite manage my nutrition quite right. So as soon as I recognised this, I felt that kind of energy low. I managed to have some electrolytes, so I had some salt stick chews, and then I had a few gels pretty consistently, one after the other. So it meant that I was actually managed to get quite a lot of calories down myself pretty early on into the race at that 30k mark to really boost my energy levels back up. So when we got around to the 50k mark in the race, maybe I was 12th, so I'd lost a few places. A few Chinese runners had come by me, and also Jay, another runner from Chiang Mai, Thai runner, who was his first 100k, kind of blasted past me as well. But yeah, our checkpoint 5 in the race was at the 50k mark, and that's when a lot of the climbing starts in the race. And as soon as we got to this checkpoint 5, I definitely felt my energy levels coming back. It was actually quite a relief to hit the steeper sections. I'm quite happy on the hills. I feel quite strong on the hills. So I really enjoyed having the stairs to hike up. Really took the rhythm out of the fast paced running which we'd had at the beginning of the race, but I really enjoyed just getting into the power hiking kind of mindset, getting up the hills and then flying down the stairs on the other side. I felt like I was holding my own pretty well. So after that 50k mark, that's when the real race kind of really began for myself. And I found myself running on my own for a lot of the race, which in the past I found quite difficult. Always found it easier to be with a group or be with another runner. It allows you to kind of push off each other, to keep the pace nice and hot, you know, nice and competitive, but at the same time keeping the reins in, not getting too excited perhaps. But when you're on your own, it can always be a bit difficult, a bit more challenging to kind of pace a race, especially in ultra. But I kind of dialed into a nice pace that I felt like I could just keep running all day long. I felt really fresh, felt really good, and I was moving really well, hiking hard up the hills, running the easier, less steep parts, and certainly running the flat and hammering down the downhills. I felt really good on the stairs. My legs felt strong, my quads felt strong. I didn't really have too many issues with the stairs in Hong Kong. Yeah, so coming up into that last 25k of the race then, so we got to about 75k in a race now, a lot of climbing in the way. You start approaching the bigger mountains, so the last kind of part of the race you start climbing up and dropping pretty steep mountains, and it was into a lot of mist by that point in the race, which made everything pretty exciting. So you're running through mist and maybe visibility was less than 20 meters ahead of you. So at this point I'd been kind of getting closer and closer to Jay, who was just ahead of me in the race. He was in 7th place, I was in 8th place now at this point in the race, and the places didn't really change until the finish then, so I stayed in this place, kept it strong. Coming in through the finish, I felt really strong. I felt like I could have perhaps kept going for another 20-30k or so. So I've been really excited for future ultra races. and the idea of doing a 100 miler seems quite realistic right now with the right training leading up to it. So coming away with 8th place in this kind of race, this international races on the Ultra Trail World Tour, I feel really happy, really fortunate with this placing. Felt like it really gave me the confidence that I needed, and I definitely showed it with the courage that I had in the beginning of the race to really go out with the top guys. You know, some of the guys that I look up to in the sport and some of the guys that inspire me to get out there and push harder in training, to be able to race with them was definitely what I needed in the race, and showed me that there's not too much difference between us all, you know, and perhaps, you know, with a better training run up to lead into future races, I can place even higher perhaps, or definitely be consistent with a top 10 finish in this kind of field. So leading into this year now, into 2017, I want to try and work on having more consistent 100-mile weeks with a lot of climbing in there as well, and really dial in some great training sessions and some more specific work to certain races. My next race now I have coming up is the North Face Thailand 100k, that's in 2 weeks from now, and some other great races coming up ahead, and hopefully be running in another 2 races in the Ultra Trail World Tour this year. Looking forward to what I can do in the future. I know I can take it up to the next level, if not a bit higher, and we'll see where that gets us. So thanks for all the support, guys, it means a lot, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Check me out on Strava, check me out on Instagram. Drop me an email, harryrunsuk@gmail.com if you're after any coaching or any specific advice, and happy running, guys.